Warning: the following video contains strong language which may be offensive to some viewers or inappropriate for children. The content within this video is intended for mature audiences only.
Hey guys, I'm He Who Reviews. Welcome back to another video. Let's get into it. Now, onto the video itself. What's this video going to be on? It's going to be a non-spoiler review of The Marvels. Yes, I know I'm a bit late to the party, but I did generally want to put my hat in the ring here, because it seems I disagree with pretty much the entire internet, or at least the loud part of the internet, in that I generally thought the film, in terms of my general thoughts on the film, I'm not going to bury the lead here, The Marvels was a fun movie. It definitely has its flaws. It's not the best in the MCU, but it's fun. It's alright. There are some flaws which I'm going to talk about, but I want to talk about the stuff I actually liked first, because I want to be more positive than the rest of the internet seems to be being. What did I like? I liked the fact that they've constructed the story in such a way that Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, doesn't seem to have too much of the Superman problem, in that she doesn't seem too overly powered, and they do actually build flaws into her powers, to her character, that balance that out. Because my problem with Captain Marvel was never the problem that everyone else seemed to have with Brie Larson, which is they just didn't like her personality. And I do think she's rude in interviews, but my main problem with Captain Marvel wasn't that. My main problem with Captain Marvel was she has the Superman problem. She's too powerful. What can actually go against her? Where is any weakness, any flaw? This is a character is not going to be interesting unless it's helmed by a really, really nuanced and really good writer, because she's just too powerful. And now, has she been helmed by a really, really nuanced and really good writer? I would say she's been handled by a mediocre one, but they've actually built in some flaws to her character, so they've actually tried to listen to my side of the argument and say she's got the Superman problem, she's too powerful. They've actually tried to listen to that, and give her some powerful flaws and some character flaws that sort of balance out her being so overpowered. And I think that worked really well in this film with Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel, obviously idealising her. So it worked really well. They did this in this film in particular. I feel like, however, there is one criticism of the flaws they gave Carol Danvers here. As I say, it wasn't a very particularly nuanced written thing. So some of the development with what they were trying to do was a bit clunky. Emotional scenes sort of seemed to be an afterthought, but I could see where they were going, and it was clunky, but it was okay. It was passable to me. And I think a better writer could have explored this in a really, really interesting, really, really nuanced way. So keep going with that direction with Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel, but get a different writer, please. The other main problem with it is just, I think they tried too hard. They listened to the side of the argument, but they really, really sort of, for lack of a better term, really dumped on Captain Marvel here, and just gave her hardly any redeeming qualities, and I'm like, okay, a bit too far here. I'm actually feeling sorry for the character's arc in this film, but it was an improvement. The nuance and the better writing team, and a little backing off of the she's terrible, would have worked better. So hopefully next time around when we see her character, the little improvements will continue to build into a bigger one. But I did overall prefer the narrative with Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel here than I did in previous films, and she didn't seem so arrogant, so overpowered. So, yeah, overall an improvement, and it is still, I'd still happily rewatch her character arc in this film again, but I can acknowledge it has some problems as well. Let's then talk about Photon, although they never actually call Maria Rambeau Photon in this film. She again had interesting ties and an interesting arc. Her arc got much better with the post-credit scene. So there is one post-credit scene in this film. Do stay for that. I'm not going to talk about it any further, but her arc ties in really well with the post-credit scene. Her arc overall was interesting. I feel like with her showing off her powers, though. They didn't give her a lot to do power-wise, but gave her more to do plot-wise. But the plot with her was still interesting and fun, and still balanced the trio quite well. Then we're going to move on to basically the tonal or narrative opposite of Maria Rambeau's Photon, is Kamala Khan's Miss Marvel. I feel like in this film, she was a one-note character. The one note being the one element from Miss Marvel that they took was she's obsessed with Captain Marvel and loves Carol Danvers. She didn't get a lot of time to do much else other than be the obsessed fangirl and then realise the flaws in Carol's character they built into the script, and then maybe realise I shouldn't idealise this person too much. And those human moments between her and Carol and her realisation of that was cool and fun, but they really didn't give Miss Marvel a lot to do here, and it saddens me, because I think by the end of Miss Marvel I actually quite warmed to her character, so I think she wasn't given much to do, more to do with the fight scenes, and the little moments she got, you could tell the actress is a fan of the MCU, she's a fan of the comics, she's really trying to do well with what she's got, and that does shine through and does make it more redeemable, and does make the film more fun and enjoyable, which is why my overall thought is the film and the trio is fun and enjoyable, and the post-credit scene is good, so stay for that. And yeah, definitely that the film is fun, worth a watch, would definitely rewatch. Don't think it's as bad as everyone seems to be saying. Do think it has some character problems. The character problems don't end with the trio, though. The main character problem I really do have an issue with here, is Samuel L. Jackson's Nick Fury. Not that he didn't give a phenomenal performance, because he does and he always does. He did and he always does, I should say. But the issue is, this is supposed to be tied in to Secret Invasion. Yep, I can't reconcile this Nick Fury with the Secret Invasion Nick Fury other than he's on the space station. And so yeah, I really can't reconcile the Nick Fury we got in Secret Invasion with the Nick Fury we got here, and that saddens me. But if you liked Captain Marvel, one really good strength of this movie is, if you liked the first film, there's still a lot of unique imprint of Captain Marvel here. Fun with Flerkens, fun with the trio, centered around Captain Marvel and giving her the lead role, obviously. And fun with all that comes with the trio, mainly the best characters in the film, Kamala's family unit. I'm so glad they got as much time in here as they did, because they really did up the fun and enjoyment of the film for me. So overall, what do I think? This is a fun and enjoyable film. Genuinely, this is a fun time. It has some flaws. The major flaw being that you could tell this was basically finished on the editing room floor, and it is a short film, only an hour and a half, and it was a fun film, but it was a fast-paced film. It doesn't really give much things time to breathe. Therefore, emotional moments and emotional writing could have been tighter, could have been better. But it's a fun film and is in no way the worst of the MCU, in my opinion. I'm probably going to get stabbed by my own audience for saying that. But it's still a fun film, and I guess that's what I've repeated about 5 times now. And maybe that's not enough of praise, maybe you think I should say more. But it's enjoyable, I'd happily watch it again. I've got nothing else really to say about it. The post-credit scene is awesome. The trio's characters work well together, in my opinion, despite flaws I've mentioned here. Nick Fury is kind of there and funny, but doesn't match up with Secret Invasion, and that saddens me. And as I say, the imprint for Captain Marvel, like the imprint for the Captain Marvel film going into this one, is there and improved upon in terms of her character flaws, in my opinion. So it's a marginal improvement for Carol Danvers' Captain Marvel. As a character, and I'm genuinely thought it was fun, would watch it again, and I'm excited to see what happens next. Anyway, that's the end of this much longer than I anticipated video on the Marvels. That's what I think. What do you think? Comment below and let me know. Do you think I'm wrong? Do you think I'm an idiot? Are you going to unsubscribe purely for this one video? I really hope none of those 3 things is true, but you are within your right to say them if you wish to say them. Comment below and let me know. That's the end of the video, guys. You can go now.